Beautiful morning here in Merit, and we are here with Dan Cates, aka Jungleman. And let's start with the poker. Later on, we will come to the other topics. Do you have new breed of internet kids? Have you played with them a lot? Are you stand in that circumstances?
Yeah, I'm used to them. I came from the internet myself. I'm not really an internet kid anymore, I think. I don't know. Maybe I am a bit. I've definitely got it in me. And yeah, I'm used to them. Let's put it that way. And it's not a surprise that they're infiltrating the live tournament scene. Well, they've been doing this. This has been going on for years.
That's true.
I think some of them may be involved with cybernetics or have some kind of, I don't know. I just see some robot-like behavior, and I'm just a little bit worried myself with all the programs going on the internet. I think maybe it's infiltrated their lives somehow. That's all I think.
And what is the biggest villain in that kind of the poker, online poker, or maybe live?
Are you talking about the biggest internet nerd villain or internet kid villain, whatever you want to call it, or internet or poker villain? What are we?
Poker.
Spoken about him quite adamantly, but no one seems to want to listen to me. This guy, Phil Galfond, seems really innocent, talks all nice all the time, but those are the guys you have to watch out for because those are the ones you least expect. He's also known as Mr. Falcons for good reason. He swoops in, doesn't necessarily win actually, but he swoops in, swoops out, and no one really knows where he goes. Keep an eye out for him. That's all I'm trying to say. Don't listen to me until it's too late, or listen to me and be prepared.
I'm pretty surprised about that one. And as we talked with the internet, let's talk a little bit about live. What about the games in Bobby's room? Can you tell us more about that one?
What games?
Cash games.
Oh, yeah. They haven't been going so much lately. Actually, recently I got a call on the internet to play them, but they've been kind of dead, I understand. They apparently are luring me in with one of my favorite snacks, these ice cream gummies. Very smart move, and it'll probably work, just not right now. I've got other plans.
Let's move from the poker to the more, let's say, real life.
Yeah.
And I know you're not first time here. You're not playing games and being casino, but you're going outside, And I saw in your social media, a couple of things here. What's your things you like the most about Cyprus and etc.?
You're right. I've been up to some stuff. Cyprus is pretty cool, but I haven't really explored it properly, to be honest. I understand there's a sunken city somewhere that you can discover for yourself if you dive underwater in the right location. It was closed last time I was here, unfortunately. But at some point I want to visit that. I heard there's all kinds of things going on in Limassol, particularly for business. Yeah, it seems like there's a lot of things going on. There's parties. I've been to Ayia Napa, but I didn't like it too much. I'll come back at some point and have a proper week or whatever, 5 days traveling Cyprus and seeing the history and the castles and do some hikes or something. Do some adventurous stuff. But so far, this trip, I've just been playing poker and losing my money businessman style.
What about the Empower? I know that you've been in the gym here. Is it true?
I had this idea, in fact, to kind of corral poker players to the gym because, as poker players, we're often sitting around not doing anything. And maybe that extra push would bring some other people to the gym. I myself haven't always been exactly at 10 a.m., but I've been going. I missed one day, but I've been going every other day otherwise. I think it's quite important for a variety of reasons. If you want to look good, if you want to be healthy, gym is pretty effective for that. If sports are a little impractical while you're traveling, or many of them. So yeah, I've been there.
And let's talk about more significant things. I've seen your message on Twitter, of course on Instagram as well, about you searching for the people who are willing to put their effort, energy to making the world better and to make more significant things. You told it was really easy to give the money, but it's much more tougher to make it for your own hands. Have you any success with the list of the people who are willing to do so?
A lot of people reached out. You'd be surprised at how many people, if you really look around, actually want to do something for the sake of the greater good. It's kind of inspiring. A couple thoughts. So first of all, I did this as kind of an active initiative, but not one that was necessarily well thought out. I think it needs to be specified a bit more, and there needs to be a lot more done with it to make it really something that could be that effective. But I find it's good to make the first steps with these sorts of things, or just make some kind of steps, provided they don't interfere too much with things you actually have going on. Another thing is, I think what I'm going to have to do is basically redirect them to there's actually an organization I know that if you put in your skills and what you're interested in or all these sorts of details, they'll tell you what you're best suited for in exactly this format. I want to investigate it myself. It's something called something like the 80,000 hour plan or something. Igor Kurganov gave me a link. He's been involved in effective altruism for a while and has had quite some success. I think it should be planned somehow. The best way to help in some kind of way at some point, one of the best ways is to help people help, if that makes sense, which is kind of what I was intending to do, but my effort is a little bit immature as far as what's happened so far, but I will follow up with the people. That being said, they also need to provide their details for what their skills are and what they're actually interested in, because unfortunately, without more than that, I can't like tell them exactly what to do or anything. And I may just, there's only so much you can do if you don't develop a skill set and you don't have a defined interest kind of thing. There needs to be some more specificity in some way, or some focus, I should say.
We're talking about the specific place, like people from the region, or it could be people for all over the world. They can write you.
I guess it can be all over the world. I don't really have that reach at the moment, but why not? And I'm doing stuff in more esoteric places occasionally, and yeah, I'd like to be able to help in these kinds of places, and I meet people from all sorts of places. Like Dubai is quite a big hub, which is one of the reasons why it's becoming more and more so a hub, in fact, which is one of the reasons why I picked there as one of my bases.
And so, guys, you have to write them and make the world a better place. One more thing and topic I want to talk to you is about the podcast. Lately you started your own one. What's the reason behind that?
So I've been looking into ways to expand my career beyond poker, the podcast being one of them. It also satisfies some other things I want to do, such as connect with more people outside of poker. It also seems to suit my character a little bit because I prefer to have deeper conversations on the whole, and podcasts tend to be about that. It also opens up the idea of this question of how do we make the world a better place, and investigates this idea a bit, which is the beginning to actually creating some functionality around it. Other people have thought about this too, but when you're coming from not being exactly in that industry, you could say, the beginnings of how to put yourself in those proper places is making some kind of initiative towards it, and also to help other people reach those places. This just kind of opens up the conversation to these sorts of things. I think goes in the right direction towards something that has more impact.
And you talked that it's not all about the poker. So what would be the guest? Maybe it's tough to get it, but what would be your dream guest, to your podcast?
Well, my dream guests would be people who are really, really big and doing something impactful for the world. So I have an idea of a guy in mind that doesn't seem so crazy. My dream guest would be like Elon Musk, but I'm not really, it seems like such a long shot right now. Well, one person that I wasn't so appealed to before, but now I am after going over his stuff and hearing a bit more about him, is Tony Robbins. I was thinking to do a program by him and that kind of thing. People like this, ideally, that don't necessarily have anything to do with poker. I talk about poker because I'm still, I'm in the poker world, obviously, and I'm interested in it, although my interests aren't so much that at the moment. It's a mix of that and other things.
Yeah, that's why it's the game of life. It's much bigger than just a poker.
Yeah.
And what's your future for the plans, especially for the near ones, traveling, etc.?
I'm going to India. I'm on a mystic quest, and also going to a friend's wedding, I should say.
And if we talked about that eastern side, what about your Kilimanjaro trip, It was astonishing to see that on social media. How it was for you in real life?
So the Kilimanjaro trip was an amazing experience. I connected with some amazing people. It was even surprising in all the ways that we connected, other than, you know, wanting to do this thing. I found that to be interesting because we all had this desire to impact in some kind of way, and other people were doing all sorts of interesting things in that zone. And we all had similar thoughts about life and that kind of thing. It just didn't seem that obvious of a connection to make, if that makes sense. But it worked out that way. And, you know, we saw things that we never normally see. We had the best service I've ever had, which was surprising. The people were incredibly friendly, which I found was interesting because were incredibly friendly and, what's the word? Caring is the word. Which was because of the relationship that the guy who brought us on the tour has taken us on for years. So I thought that was really interesting. And yeah, you'll see sites which you'll never see and have an experience that is very unique. It's kind of luxurious, to be honest. It didn't feel like we were really roughing it. It wasn't so hard, except for the altitude. I got very sick on the third day. I didn't do things perfectly, but maybe it was a bit random. Unfortunately, because I was a little bit too sick, I couldn't do the last stretch, which supposedly was very, very difficult. And if you feel any slightest bit sick, apparently it'll be like a lot worse as you go up the last stretch. So the guides didn't let me do the last part. But otherwise, it was pretty good. I guess it's not a huge deal that I didn't go to the top. But, you know, there are other mountains to climb. I wasn't perfect before. Maybe there'll be a lesson for me. Could have added some percent that I could have gone or whatever. But yeah, it was great.
And what was the biggest take from this trip? Maybe, you know, coming back after some time, maybe it was go to your mind, you know, maybe you want, as you told, to go to another mountains, or maybe it gives you some additional thoughts. So what was your biggest take from the Kilimanjaro trip? What you took it from that personally?
Well, the biggest thing was just that how good the service was. It was just really surprising to me because, you know, in the middle of Africa, you wouldn't necessarily expect the service to be that good, and it was, I presume, a function of how well my friend who has been traveling that path for years, this is what he said, had been treating them. And it just seems that if people on the whole adopt this attitude, it seems like a lot of problems will dissolve themselves, essentially. That was my biggest takeaway. And also make sure to follow the rules 100%, or make sure to solve all the problems as much as possible, which is hard to always do, but yeah, those two things.
So guys, it was amazing journey, the mind journey of Jungleman, and I wish you all the best, and I hope you will take all the challenges you got in your road more than a poker.
All right, thank you.